What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you guys are ready. We got brand new month, even though it's the last day of the week. I don't like when this happens. I like when the month to be on Monday, keep myself organized, but it is what it is. We got Amy in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andrew, Andy, Bill, Cheryl, Dragons in the house. Good morning to Frank, Jeff, Joe, Keith, Kevin, Lou, Lucian, Martina, Michael, Nicholas, Peter's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Sarah, Shane, Tim, all my people out in YouTube land, all my lurkers in the background. We got Sabine. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone that's just gonna sit there quietly in YouTube land, not gonna say nothing all day. You can throw some comments out. You can throw some tickers out. But either way, it's okay. I love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. And we finally got a gap down. I don't even know. I forgot what this looks like. We haven't seen a gap down in like an actual considerable gap down. Let's see what the last any gap down was. I guess technically July 18th, we opened slightly below where we opened. So technically, but yeah, for us to take out a candle, that has not happened I guess the last time that's happened was June 17th. So we've gone 2 weeks without I don't even know. I don't know how to play this one. I'm confused already. But I do think this is going to be an important one. So we had some earnings. I think we're more down on the tariffs kind of sticking. We didn't get the tariff takeaway that we've been kind of accustomed to, but we're in this environment. So we have an actual gap down. By the way, I know a lot of people are saying somewhere between like 5-10% if we actually get a correction. Kind of makes sense if we do. 608 would put us at from the highs of 640. That would throw us into about 608, would give us about 5% down. So we still have ways to go. This is not a huge gap yet. What I think is more important than how we're opening today is how we're going to close. If we just rally back, because again, we don't have a dip recently that really sets us up into like we don't know the last time we had dips, they were all buy the dip opportunities. So the real question is if we come in strong and if we do a full retest, it's going to take us somewhere into like the 633.28 zone. And that would still just be okay. We're at a retest. They did buy the dip at least. So we have that, but we don't know kind of where we're going from there. If they don't come in, there's no buyers today. And we've been struggling in the last couple days because we're still sitting in bullish environments. We're trying to go bullish on day trades. And what we've noticed is we just really haven't had the follow through. So we saw the market kind of shifting sentiments a little bit. If we just sell off from here, nothing crazy happens, but we just stay inside day, there's no bulls here at 626, then we can't find buyers. That tells me we're probably sitting in a little bit of a bigger pullback. So we'll see what actually happens. We are approaching good levels of support. That's going to take us. We have a couple levels first, but the big one that I want to watch, if we pull down into this hammer that we got from July 16th, looking for some kind of a retest of that hammer, which we haven't really had yet. That would be our first test, 623.26. I'm going to put that as a big level. The next big level after that would be somewhere around the 619.86. And then if we don't hold that, there is a few levels that would kind of maybe get some bouncing off of, but I have a really good retest spot would be 607.19. Got 2 days of volume right in there. That's also never been retested. And then maybe that gap filled down to like 599.23. So somewhere in that zone, I think we get these bigger pullbacks in a longer time frame. For today, I don't know. Again, we haven't seen a we haven't seen a dip in forever. And it is a retest gap. It is also 1, 2, 3, 4 red days in a row. Most notable is where we opened yesterday. Very impressive. Great job, Bulls. They did what they had to do. And again, they used that as a let's take some gain opportunity as opposed to just ripping this thing higher. So we'll see. Small levels for today. Look for your first resistance. Very close to where we're at, 626.50. If we get above that, we're looking a little bit more retesty. We got the 20 EMA somewhere right around this 627.24-ish zone. I've got another VPOC for resistance, 628.71. Another big one would be this 631.22. That might be all we get today if we have a really good reversal profit taking. But the bigger one would be we get retested back to 633.28, and then we have to see what happens from there. So there is quite a bit of resistance all the way up to get to that retest. I'm not sure if we get all the way back up there today. Pretty significant gap down, but we are sitting right at a really interesting level of support so far. We'll see. I don't know. This is a rare buy the dip opportunity. This is a rare one. We got the Qs also bearish engulfing candle covering 2, 3 days, 4 days, almost 5 days. That's not showing any strength whatsoever. Especially when they started off so good. Other than that, same thing. We're gapping into. So if we get a little bit more, okay, this is the like we get a little more fear, I guess, of like this is the big moment everybody's been waiting for. You got 556.12. That would be our first sign. We take that out. Next level of support, which we've been to a couple times, 552.20. I think that's probably a little bit easier to break. Even this 549.15, we've kind of already been there before. We've already kind of retested this 546. So the last real untested VPOC takes us into this 540.87 zone. So we'll see if we get this actual pullback. This is just another crazy summer gap down, gets bought right back up, and this whole thing is meaningless. We'll see what happens. But where today closes, I think is going to be very, very important to set us up. Also on the weekly candle, if we do fill that gap today, then we're sitting there with a nice little high wave indecision. If we close pretty weak on the Qs, this is going to look a little bit more like a blow off top after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green weeks in a row. So watch those weekly candles after we close as well. And then the monthly candle, let's see what that one looks like. The monthly candle was still fairly nice and strong. And we're just kind of opening halfway through last month. Check out Bitcoin, BTCUSD. Let's flip this back to the daily chart. We've been watching some key levels, lots and lots of consolidation, couple weeks, few weeks of just sitting there sideways. Bulls tried it once, twice, three, 4 times, and the Bulls just could not break this 120 zone. So to me, though we're still hanging in there, they're not going to give us much to work off of. Essentially, we didn't even quite get down to this 113,752 zone. Bulls already trying to fight back. So again, maybe Bitcoin leads the way and kind of tells us that we're gonna just buy some dips today. We'll see. But key level that we did break through is this 115 422. Still not getting down to this 113 759. But again, that is not a great close. It was an okay close. Still kind of hangs in to at least some of the support, but most notably, we're now starting to take out this 117 340 zone, and we probably get a little bit more of a pullback in Bitcoin land as well. Let's see, we got a couple tickers that are coming in. Apple, AAPL. Surprisingly, Apple beat on earnings, which again, is nothing crazy. Most notably, they beat revenue by 10%. So they had or not beat, but they grew revenue by 10%, which is not bad. A lot of that coming off of iPhone sales. Not sure. I don't know. I don't follow Apple iPhones maybe as much as some of you Apple fans do. Was there a new phone out? Was there a reason? The only thing I could really think of is just buying iPhones ahead of tariffs and in the staring down the tariff of man, we might be paying more in the future for my iPhone, so maybe now's a good time to buy it. So maybe that did drive sales a little bit. But nonetheless, the revenue side of things were pretty good. They were driven by the iPhones. It's kind of a little bit of relief for Apple. Also, when you have stuff like Nvidia, Palantir, AMD, anything, any of these tech names that have just run absolutely crazy, they're at frothy valuations. Apple is still, um, it hasn't moved as much. We're not sitting at all-time highs. If you still want to be in tech and have exposure to AI, but maybe rather wait for some of these AI names to pull down, chip makers to pull down a little bit, Apple, I don't think will drop as much as the rest of the market. We'll see. But I think you have a solid name. You get a little bit of growth in there. You get some exposure to AI, and I think Apple probably holds up. It doesn't pull down, drop as much as some of the other names if we actually get some kind of pullback. We'll see what happens. But this would be kind of like the risk off type trade, but still gives you some exposure. Nonetheless, fairly good gap. Obviously, a lot of volume that came in yesterday. More notably, and this is going to be driven to earnings, but more notably, we are the without the earnings volume. This candle from July 29th. That was a pretty good high volume candle. We are sitting right into that support resistance now. So I think that's where we open from here is going to be extremely important. We are taking out 2 days of bears. But if we could open above, I think 211.94 ish, maybe 212 flat. If we could open above 212, we're above that support. And then I think we might have some room for Apple to move to 213.38. Lots of levels of epochs up there, lots of resistance, plus that 200 on the daily. I think that's gonna be a little tougher to take out. Let's see if Apple can do it today. The big area on this one is about 215. We were watching this one just every single day, hit 215, hit 215, then started hitting 214.86, then started hitting like 214.70, and they just could not, the bulls could not get past it. So if we get a closing past 215, I think that sets up Apple pretty well for a future, a little bit of a breakout play that also would take us above this 200 EMA, which we've struggled with for a little bit. But gap and go for today, you have a little bit of room to the bull side. Lots of resistance coming in, so you probably have about $1.50 higher if we could get a good open on it. AMZN, Amazon, which had a little bit of reversal day yesterday with everything else. Again, with this one, the earnings were good. They beat on earnings. Outlook, I think, was a little bit rougher, but they came in with 26% surprise beat on EPS, which is good. They came in with an extra 5.5 billion on the revenue side of things. That's a B. It's crazy. That being said, we talked about this one yesterday, and we've already been at a higher valuation. We've already pushed on this one. So they did have a high bar to beat. You want to see beat and a raise on guidance, not a kind of lower on guidance, which we got. We are filling the gap. Again, earnings were good. Decent pullbacks so far on Amazon. Let's do one more thing on this one. Let's see if we get that fib. I don't even know where I want to start this fib though. That's the problem. Uh, Fib retracement. I guess let's go with this slightly bigger picture. Let's throw it here. So not only are we closing the gap, but we are right in that 50% retracement. The 618, if we could come down a little bit further, would be like 213.22. Obviously they're going to be a little subject to what happens with tariffs and how that actually affects things. Just being especially retail driven type business. But then they also have AWS and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's not just pure retail. But that is a rough gap. You are opening into a little bit of support. So again, let's see if they buy this one up here. Let's see how this wants to react. I don't think we're coming back up to this 234.38 today. That'd be wild. And then you have a ton of resistance on this one at 220.37. Then to the downside again, I think if you get down to this 213.73, we might have even done that already after hours, but that would be a decent buy the dip spot for Amazon if it comes in. So and you got to worry about the rest of the market. The rest of the market hasn't really had too much of a pullback, and in reality, this drop in the market is kind of small still. Could be the beginning, but it's still relatively small. You got Palantir is not a lot of room in either direction on this one. Again, this name it's up there. You do have earnings Monday night. I think they have a high bar to beat. I think the earnings will come in good. Their guidance probably comes in good too. I don't even know if that's gonna be enough to save it. We'll see. But this is up there. We've had quite the run from essentially $7 not really too long ago to $158. We got up to the $160 mark. So we are starting to break a little bit of a pivot down. Maybe a good time, at least worst case, if you still want to hold your Palantir shares, sell some covered calls, maybe buy some puts just in case, straddle it a little bit. But otherwise, Palantir just kind of hanging out. You do have really good support all the way down to 153.13. I don't know if I'd want to really go short on this one today, but if I could get the price into like 156.33, I think that'd be if we start double topping up there, we get a inverted hammer. I could see decent risk reward to the short side, but even with this one, we haven't actually even broken the downtrend yet. So most likely, I think we stay strong on this one. I don't think we have a huge move either direction for today. Again, unless the market really picks up and goes crazy. But Coinbase, they reported earnings. They missed on the revenue side of things. Their earnings per share was phenomenal. Came in with $3.89, so 311% higher than expectations. However, 90% missed by $90 million as to where they were expected to come in, so not a great look. Even this one might be fun to watch. Right now, it's definitely retest gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 red days in a row, opening into a really good support. You have the support of the 50 EMA. You have, I think, really good risk reward on this one in either direction. But if we start breaking down essentially where we're opening now, you have a decent amount of room down to, I think, probably about 306.82. Otherwise, you're probably looking for a fade on this one. And again, I don't know if we can make it up to. This would be my only problem with going long on this one is if you get to 370, great. Otherwise, big resistance gets us into like 352.94. We can still make a good trade, I think, bullish off of that, even if we get into that 352 zone. That would take us 330. It's about $15 higher from here. And then we have to see what happens around 352. But so we have some decent room. I think we get a small enough setup of this one. We'll know pretty quickly if this thing is not going to actually fade, and then you could probably reverse that position if it doesn't work. But plenty of room down to 307.40. We'll see if we can get there. But we're hanging in on this one. Let's get this one higher on the list. Got a lot of room on it in either direction. I would like a little high wave. I think maybe out of the gate we might get that high wave indecision candle. This good of a support where it kind of has to hold, and then a lot of room in both directions. I think you'd have some indecisiveness at open, and probably we could take that break. That one looks good. Might as well go ahead and buy this dip. Jeff's already buying the dip. All right. Lucia says not since last November. That's for the iPhones. A new phone to get Apple Intelligence, which doesn't exist yet. But if you want to be the first in line to be intelligent like Apple, you can buy it now in hopes that one day coin a little thing called earnings kick in the butt. Yep. CrowdWeave, CRWV. I mean, we've seen most of the companies have kind of reported pretty well. It's just a very high bar on a lot of these things. CoreWeave, hanging out. Obviously, most recently, a little bit of a pullback, downtrend. I don't know. We got Fig. You guys said, oh no, you guys said Fig was like the other one. Circle. Just hanging out for now. Look for your first resistance. This is a gap and go. So we had a gap and go yesterday. It did go a little bit, and now we're starting to break that down. I don't like this level. We should have held 110.29. So for right now, you're at least on the top end, the opening price of this July 30th candle, but I think that's weak. I think if you get some kind of a bounce, look for a short somewhere around 110.50. You have a lot of room down to I think the at least the low end of this candle, 103.16. So see if this would could get bought up at open. Let's add this one to the list. Let's see if this one could get a buy at open. I think there's some bulls interested in buying at that spot. Other than that, though, I think that's a not a strong sign of sentiment. It's going to take forever, huh? We'll just throw it where it lands on the list. FCX on daily consolidation. FCX. Yeah. Well, we're consolidating a little bit. I would say the one good thing with this one is even yesterday's range was fairly large. You did open at a support that has to hold $38.94. Bulls came in. This to me looks like a three bar bearish play. So what the three bar play is you want to see a breakout candle, which would be this one. It's got to have high volume, which it's there, and then you want the next candle to be the opposite color, kind of hanging in the upper third region, or in this case, the lower third. If this candle from yesterday breaks down, I think that sets us up for a much deeper pullback. Other than that, if this candle does not break down, you're sitting there with a little bit of a harame. You at least have a good risk reward if you're going to try this thing bullish. What I do like is this $38 level. So we obviously have some decent support here, good bounce location. This broke down again off of Trump signing that bill, the copper bill. So we'll see if this one recovers. For now, for today though, I'd be looking at probably a do nothing day on it. I'd be looking at $40.37. If you get above it, there might be a shot to go long. You're going to be running into all those moving averages. I would say if you start breaking down this 38.93, that's your spot to say, okay, I'm gonna start thinking a little bit short on this one. For right now, you're smack in the middle of yesterday's candle. I would want give me a reaction to any of those spots. So get up to that 40.37, and then maybe look to go short, just with a risk to reward opportunity. But yeah, right now this is an important candle, and then this got to break this today. So if this does not break yesterday's candle today, then I don't think there's no three bar play. It has to happen in 3 days. You want to see some continued momentum on it. We got Roku, ROKU. Gold popped at 8:30. Uh, Roku looks a little bit rough. What was their earnings? So again, not bad. Pretty good. They came in with an extra surprise of 146% on earnings per share. They have it a $39 million higher on the revenue side of things. This is a combination. I don't know what their outlook was. But this looks like a combination of a little bit of bullish exhaustion, maybe some weaker guidance came in, not sure, but definitely running into these earnings with a high bar. We went from $58 to, so what are we up, like 90% in the matter of, well, since last earnings, so 3 months. Pretty high bar. What did they come in with last time? 27% beat, and then 13 million on the revenue side. Yep. Again, it's another one. Even though we're gapping down, there's a lot of things, a lot of names just sitting at big supports. The big one on this one, I would say look for probably about 87.05. Even if this one breaks down, you're probably trapping at least two days of bulls. I would say more notably this candle right here, before earnings came out, had some decent volume on it. We are trapping any of those guys, and then obviously kind of clearing out some support on this one. So my question for today is it's I don't know how much more this thing wants to drop. Or if I have good risk reward. My good trade on this one would be if we start breaking 86.46. That's the final line in the sand. Then you have room down to like 84.35, and then 83.59. So uh tight. I think it's gonna be tight. The better move would be if this thing actually wants to fade higher first, and then we could short around 89.84 on this one, or as close as possible to that. Maybe you're watching this 88.74 zone. Fig. I'm not gonna have too much data on Fig because it just IPO'd at 2 p.m. yesterday, I think. But if you bought the open, congrats. You were up like 245% on it. Not bad. Not bad. Or at least from where they were pricing it. But other than that, yeah, still looking like it wants to continue. This is a retest gap. It's still very early in the history of FIG in the stock market. You guys were comparing it to Circle. We saw what happened to Circle. Had good follow through. Maybe this happens here as well. I think at this point, if you're trying to buy this one, you're probably waiting to see if you get a little bit of a retest somewhere and you're looking for like 110.67. Other than that, even if you buy it there, your stops probably have to be below that IPO, and that's about a 20. It's about a $20 move, just over $20 move, risk to reward wise. So to get 2 hours of that one, you need about $40. It's not out of the question, but yeah, I'd have to wait and see what happens on this one. But if you're if you're in it, congrats. SoFi. Pulling back into support. Again, a lot of these names doing the same thing. This is also a retest gap from yesterday. We do have a little bit of room to the higher side, but just like everything else, there's that one level that we really should have held. In this case, the level we really should have looked for some kind of support is right around this 2258 zone. So now to the way up, if we do a full-on retest, if we want to hit that VPOC from yesterday, you got 2295. We're still opening at an okay spot as long as we could hold this 2170 zone. Where are we at now? Right at 2170. As long as we can hold this might be a retest. It is a retest gap from yesterday. Could get bid up first. I just don't know now if you get past this 2204. You could try. To the downside, if we break underneath it, that's not going to be a good look. And I think you got room down to like $21 today, maybe slightly less, $20.97. So little room in both directions. We're gonna have to see what this one wants to open though. I think I'd rather be bullish than bearish at open for this one. But there is the morning bell opening right at 2170, and the initial reaction so far, it's dropping underneath it. So watch that one. We'll see. Other than that, everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you're not done so already. You guys are incredible. Be safe in the market.